Friends and comrades, it's an honour to welcome you all to this commemoration on the 96th anniversary of the Easter Rising, arguably the most hallowed period in the Republican calendar. Easter is an occasion to remember our patriot dead. We remember not only the men, women, boys and girls of 1916, but also the subsequent generations of Irish revolutionaries whose selflessness, courage and valour ultimately cost them their lives. The ultimate sacrifice in the face of the enemy. The enemy that was at war with them in life remains at war with them in death. For within 1 week and 1 mile of where we stand here today, 13 activists and supporters have been stopped, searched, interrogated, and in one instance assaulted, whilst attempting to build a fitting tribute to our fallen comrades and forebears. When we look around us here today, amongst the many hundreds of Republicans and Socialists who've gathered here, it is clear who has been the victor on this occasion. We have defied them. The tribute befitting the sacrifice has been built, and each one of us, whatever our affiliation, have played our own crucial role in that. And for that, I would like to commend everybody here. And one of those others, the jackboot of the British state, the PSNI, they remain what they have always been in our communities, the outsiders, the strangers. It's they who are the wreckers. Comrades, whilst we commemorate our dead, I'm also reminded of the words of a great fighter, an organiser of the working class, an agitator for true liberation, a founding member of the International Workers of the World, a Cork woman who would ultimately meet her death in the United States of America, Mother Mary Jones. She urged all of us to remember the dead, yes, but also to fight like hell for the living. We remain occupied. We stand in an area of mass deprivation. We have thousands of unemployed, children living in poverty, families at the mercy of slumlords, prisoners, Republican political prisoners being brutalised in Maghaberry, Republicans like Martin Corey and Marion Price being held hostage by the British state. I urge you all, comrades, to remember our dead, not only today, but always. And for all of us to redouble our efforts to fight like hell for the living. Thank you. I now call upon the band to play the national anthem, Around the Fane. I would now like to call upon former Armagh prisoner and member of the Irish Republican Martyrs Commemoration Committee, Nuala Parry, to read the proclamation.
Irish men and Irish women, in the name of God and of the dead generations from which she receives her old tradition of nationhood, Ireland through us summons her children to her flag and strikes for her freedom. Having organised and trained her manhood through her secret revolutionary organisation, the Irish Republican Brotherhood, and through her open military organisation, the Irish Volunteers and the Irish Citizens' Army, having patiently perfected her discipline, having resolutely waited for the right moment to reveal itself, she now seizes that moment, and supported by her exiled children in America and by gallant allies in Europe, but relying in the first on her own strength, she strikes in full confidence of victory. We declare the right of the people of Ireland to the ownership of Ireland and to the unfettered control of Irish destinies, to be sovereign and indefeasible. The long usurpation of that right by a foreign people and government has not extinguished that right, nor can it ever be extinguished except by the destruction of the Irish people. In every generation, the Irish people have asserted their right to national freedom and sovereignty. 6 times during the last 300 years, they have asserted in arms, standing on that fundamental right and again asserting it in arms in the face of the world. We hereby proclaim the Irish Republic as a sovereign, independent state, and we pledge our lives and the lives of our comrades in arms to the cause of its freedom, of its welfare, and of its exaltation among the nations. The Irish Republic is entitled to, and hereby claims, the allegiance of every Irish man and Irish woman. The Republic guarantees religious and civil liberties, equal rights and equal opportunities to all its citizens, and declares its resolve to pursue the happiness and prosperity of the whole nation and all of its parts, cherishing all of the children of the nation equally and oblivious of the differences carefully fostered by an alien government which have divided the minority from the majority in the past. Until our arms have bought the opportune moment for the establishment of a permanent national government representative of the whole people of Ireland and elected by the suffrages of all her men and women, the provisional government hereby constituted will administer the civil and military affairs of the Republic in the trust for the people. We place the cause of the Irish Republic under the protection of the Most High God, whose blessing we invoke upon our arms, and we pray that no one who serves that cause will dishonour by cowardice, inhumanity, or rapine. In this supreme hour, the Irish nation must, by its valour and discipline, and by the readiness of its children to sacrifice themselves for the common good, prove itself worthy of the august destiny to which it is called. Signed on behalf of the Provisional Government, Thomas J. Clark, Sean McDermott, P.H. Pearce, James Conley, Thomas MacDonagh, Eamon Cant, Joseph Plunkett.
I now call upon Jacqueline Cartwright to play a lament during the lowering of the flags.
All right. Éirígí na Bronte. Éirígí na Bronte.
May I now call upon everybody to observe a minute's silence in tribute to Ireland's dead. We'll now have a laying of the wreaths. I call upon a representative of the Irish Republican Martyrs Commemoration Committee to lay a wreath, please. We also have a representative of Éirígí to lay a wreath. We also have a representative of Republican ex-prisoners Belfast to lay a wreath. I call upon a representative of family, friends of Republican prisoners McGabry to lay a wreath. May I have a member of the James Connolly Society to lay a wreath, please? And a representative of Éirígí to lay a wreath. And now I call upon anyone else who would like to lay a wreath or flowers to please do so now. Thank you. Our main speaker today was to be Brian Leeson. Unfortunately, due to family bereavement, Brian has been unable to travel here today. On behalf of everyone here, I would like to offer our sincere condolences to Brian and his family and assure them that our thoughts are with them at this time. We're speaking today, we have an able replacement, Dublin Socialist Republican, Daithí McAllister.
Dús buire bhhalam mo fuirmhaíchas a gháil na Éirígí Belfast a socléirí orm tatan seo aniu chun leirt ar an ócáil seo a chuimhnachán airí amach na cásga néideag séideag. Gur amach agah. Is olbhar in an ordom bheith agrí láthar glúiseach na fóbachta ar Belfasta. I measc léagar na séise. I measc saidirí na fóbachta an glún seo agus an na glúin a haig rón atá ag lís an cré thart timpeall orann. Agus libse, na ghaoine úsile a cumad an winníons na chuspáirí álan ar son a thugsiad a chuid héileán na lúpra. Firstly, I'd like to express my sincerest thanks to Éirígí Belfast for inviting me here to speak today on this, the occasion of the commemoration of the 96th anniversary of the 1916 Rising. It is a true honour to be here in the heart of Republic in West Belfast amongst the heroes of Ireland. Amongst the martyred soldiers of Ireland from this and previous generations who are buried here in the hallowed grounds of this cemetery. And amongst you, the noble risen people who have kept faith with the objectives for which they gave their precious lives. I would particularly like to take this opportunity to salute the memory of volunteer Daniel Burke of the Irish Republican Army's Belfast Brigade 1st Battalion, who died on this day in 1974 not far from this very spot. We come here today on this Easter Monday not alone to reflect and remember, but to recommit also. While it is important to reflect upon and remember the heroism and sacrifice of those we are gathered here to commemorate, what is required more than anything today is that we recommit to strive and struggle in whatever way we can for the realisation of the Irish Socialist Republic that the Easter Rising proclaimed. It is for this objective and nothing short of it that Ireland's pantheon of freedom fighters fought and died throughout the last 100 years. Recommitting ourselves to this objective is the only form of homage appropriate to the memory of those who fell in that fateful week in 1916 and in all subsequent periods of struggle for Irish freedom. Ireland is not free, and recommitting ourselves to actively struggling for its freedom is the only logical way to conceive of this objective being realised. It will not fall from the sky, nor will it be achieved through wishful thinking or attempts to kill unionism with kindness, nor indeed by wearing sackcloth and ashes, or talk of reconciliation with the forces of reaction. Given the fact of the ongoing occupation of the six-county area and the catastrophic effects that the crisis of capitalism is having on people right across Ireland, it should be self-evident to all right-thinking people that the goal of revolution in Ireland is as justified and necessary today as it ever has been. It is certainly the case that more and more people are coming to believe this. In recognition of this reality, it is essential that we prepare our forces in earnest for the coming period of struggle before us. The class struggle is at its most heightened in decades. The battle lines are clearly drawn. They are clearly drawn for all to see between the so-called masters of the universe and the wretched of the earth. We must prepare our forces well, because we have a war to win and our enemy is strong. We must redouble our efforts to build a revolutionary movement that is capable of sweeping away once and for all the rotten edifice that is the political and economic system in Ireland, both north and south. In this regard, we are firmly of the belief that the primary and a still yet elusive objective of the glorious rising of Easter week, that being the liberation of the people of Ireland, is impossible under capitalism. In this regard, we are firmly of the belief that it is impossible to talk of freedom under capitalism. It is our firm belief also that we will have to fight if we are to successfully achieve our primary objectives of removing the British presence from Ireland and casting off the scourge of capitalism for once and for all. It will fall upon people just like those of us gathered here today to step into the breach and do the fighting. It will be people like us who come from the revolutionary Fenian tradition who will fight for Ireland's freedom, or it will be no one. It has always been this way. Just as the men and women of 1916 struck out for Irish freedom, so too will this generation have to. To come here and recommit to do anything less or anything different than struggle for full Irish freedom would be an affront to the lessons and legacy of 1916 and to the memory of all of those interred here. By our deeds and actions, we must show that we are worthy of belonging to the same august tradition of service to the cause of Ireland's freedom and the exaltation of its people as the martyrs we remember here today proved themselves to be. If, as James Connolly noted, the national movement of our day is not merely to reenact the sad old tragedies of our past history, it must show itself capable of rising to the exigencies of the moment. It must demonstrate to the people of Ireland that our nationalism is not merely a morbid idealising of the past, but is also capable of formulating a distinct and definite answer to the problems of the present and a political and economic creed capable of adjustment to the wants of the future. In this respect, we must set ourselves apart from those who pay lip service to the true meaning of 1916. We must show the people that we are deadly serious in our commitment to a socialist republic, where our socialism in practice will equate to the application to agriculture and industry, to the farm, the field, the workshop of the democratic principle of the Republican ideal, not merely some vacuous, empty rhetoric about an Ireland of equals. We are entering into a period of historical commemoration of the centenaries of some of the most formative events of the last 100 years of Irish history. The 1913 lockout, the 1916 rising, of course, and the Tam War being amongst the most significant for socialist republicans. You can be assured that the establishment and the political parties that to support and defend it will each vie to appropriate the memory of these events. Well, let me say one thing with absolute certainty. The volunteers of Easter week would be scathing of the hypocrisy of those who claim to be Republican, yet practice politics that sees them supporting a British police force that harasses Irish Republicans, preparing to remember their dead, as happened to Éirígí activists here in this city and in Newry last week. On that point, we shouldn't be surprised by this. Our business is revolution, and their business is counter-revolution. We defy them to do our worst. They would also be scathing of those who bubble with love and enthusiasm for Ireland, and yet can pass unmoved through our streets and witness all the wrong and all the suffering, the shame and the degradation brought upon the people of Ireland, brought by Irishmen upon Irishmen and women, without warning to end it. They would be scathing too of those so-called socialist Republicans who endorse Tory slave labour workfare proposals from the vantage point of their storming ivory tower committees. These people are, as Connolly declaimed them to be, frauds and liars in their hearts. We, however, know who we are. We are of the same faith of those who gave their lives in pursuit of the noblest of causes. We have remained true to the fight to free humanity forevermore from the bonds of oppression and injustice. Of 1916, it is indeed no exaggeration to state that never had man or woman a grander cause, never was a cause more grandly served. Never was there a grander cause than the cause of freedom. Never was it more grandly served than by those who are buried here in Milltown Cemetery. The martyrs of the Irish freedom struggle of 1916 and beyond died that the nation might live, that the British political and military presence in Ireland be obliterated, that the right of the people of Ireland to the ownership of Ireland be vindicated and made a reality, that a free people's republic take its rightful place among the nations of the world. They have set the benchmark for all of us in struggle. Their sacrifice is an enduring reminder of the lengths we must be prepared to go in resisting that which is wrong and attempting to bring about that which is right. Their example is testament to the fact that there can never be compromise with imperialism and occupation, that there can never be compromise with injustice. Their memory steels those of us who are dedicated to rebuilding a revolutionary socialist republican movement in that firm conviction. It steels us, to paraphrase Bobby Sands, to fight back our tears and scorn our fears and cast aside our pain. For loud and high we must sing our cry, a nation once again. The mask legran again, for ever nanoke Dalish Éirígí. Berbio agus Chucky